Hey everyone, Jason here, digital marketing consultant, and in this Canva guide, you're going to learn how to build an ebook from scratch. So timestamps below, along with some other helpful videos to designing other things in Canva. This is going to be perfect if you're looking to create an ebook as a lead magnet to help grow your email list, or you're looking to create a 20 to 50 page ebook to sell on your website. This is not for Kindle publishing. You cannot export Canva designs into the epub format. I'll show you how to do that later on, but Canva is great if you want to make images for your Kindle ebook. So let's go ahead, jump right in here. I think the very first place to start once you've logged in, whether you have free or paid, is to just come up to the search box and then type in ebook. And this will automatically take you to, you'll see suggested here. We can click on ebook and then you'll be able to see all of the different templates. I'm a huge fan of using templates, especially when it comes to the book covers. And it's a lot easier to design the inside of the pages from scratch. So go ahead and just scroll through all of these and find a template that you like. There are a lot. Now, if you're using the free plan, keep in mind that you're not going to be able to combine different designs. So if you see two templates that you really like, choose the one that's harder to replicate because you're not going to be able to combine them. You can if you have the paid version Canva for Work. And you'll notice that a lot of these are covers that you'd find on the front of a fiction book. And so if you're scrolling through all these and go, you know what, I'm just not finding anything, the other design to look for is actually report. So if we come up here to report and we click on report, I've found that especially for lead magnets and really small ebooks, that some of these covers are a lot easier to edit and work with. These two are some of my favorites. So once you choose one, you'll just go ahead and click on it and you'll open up a brand new design. Now, to save us some time, I've already gone through a couple of these. And of course, you can always start by choosing the format as well. Go ahead and with A4 or just standard 8.5 by 11, just a standard piece of paper. And when you open up that design, you'll also have some results if you click on templates here, and you'll see that there are more examples of templates that you can use. And so for our purposes here, I've already found a template that I'm going to modify. So all you have to do is click on it and then it will bring in the template. Now, if you have any paid elements inside of this template, all you have to do is take them out or replace them, and then you'll be able to download it if you're using the free plan. I'm on Canva for Work, so it's not telling me that I need to pay for anything. But if you see a template that you like, chances are one of these images are going to be the reason that it's paid. And so all you have to do is replace it with a free image, and then you're good to go. So the first thing we're going to want to do is change up our colors. So I'm going to click on our background and come up here to the purple and then select a new background color. I'm going to be making an ebook about time blocking, so I'll go ahead and choose a orange color here. And if you find yourself clicking around and trying out a lot of different colors, that's okay. You're not alone. Canva actually has the ability under your default colors here, you can actually add your own brand kit. So if I go back to outside of the Canva design and I go home and then I click on brand kit here, you'll actually be able to create your own color palette. And so once you do, you'll be able to see that color palette in all of your designs. I highly recommend doing this. You can do it even on the free plan. There are some restrictions to how many colors you can. And of course, Canva for Work, you can have a bunch of different color palettes. So I recommend doing this and your brand fonts as well. It makes designing a whole lot faster. But let's go ahead and come back to our design here. So of course, this is not going to be about gyms. This is going to be about time blocking. So I will come over here to photos and I'll just type in time management. And because I'm using a template here, all I need to do is click and drag an image that I like and it will automatically replace it. It's pretty much just like a photo frame here. So let's say I like this one as well. I'll just click and drag that. Maybe we'll do the iPad instead. All right, we'll do the iPad instead. And now it's time, of course, to edit the title. And to do that, all we need to do is click and highlight here. Now you'll see that it looks like there's actually two elements, and that's because they're grouped. So if I come up here and click on ungroup, you'll see now I can select the pre-header and the header, or I can just undo, and now they're the same group. And the advantage of the group is it's very easy to resize things. So let's go ahead and type in our title here, and you'll see that it doesn't exactly work all that well. So let's go ahead and pull this out a little bit. So blocking is in fact one word. and then we can click and drag it up to the top, and it looks like we're going to need to make some changes, but you can see that as I click and drag the bottom up and down, all of the text size is changing. So I really like using the templates because it's very easy to resize things. So let's go ahead and pull this image down. And so I've just selected the image and I'm just holding the down arrow as it goes nice and slow. And then I'll go ahead and click and drag this across the top. So now we have time blocking 101, level up your productivity. And of course, now this 20% off is kind of in the way. So I'll just go ahead and delete that, and I'll delete this bottom text as well. It would be a good idea to leave our website on here. So go ahead and type in the website, and you can also hyperlink. So what's really great about this is we can go ahead and select all, and then you can come up here to click on the link, and then you can enter the link of wherever you want people to go. I'll get to more on that in a little bit when it comes to actually creating buttons, call to action buttons, especially if this is a lead magnet. And so that kind of does it for our cover. Now, the only other thing I want to point out is if you come over here to elements, and you can use, of course, different shapes and frames, which we'll get to in a moment here, but you can also search for elements. So for example, I can search for digital marketing. You can also click the filter icon here, and you can click to select only to see free things. So if you're on the free account, just go ahead and select this. That way you don't see a bunch of awesome things that you have to pay for or can't use. So since I'm using the Pro plan, I'll go ahead and just click on this. Actually, this is a free icon anyway. And of course I can click and drag and bring it up to the top right here. I'll just pretend this is our logo for this example and click and drag. And then I'm going to follow a format that I want inside of the ebook as well. So I'll come back up here to elements and select the square element, and we'll go ahead and choose our red color here. Again, I think it's really, really important to go ahead and take some time creating your brand colors. When you stick around to the end, I have some resources for you on that as well, because it can be quite a pain. So let's go ahead and drag down our title here. Now, the other thing that we can do, instead of dragging it down, we can click on position and then bring forward. And then that way, now it's going to be in front of the element that we just created. So if I click and drag this and position and bring to front, there we go. Now it's actually up. Bring forward actually just brings it one place forward. So we'll go ahead and grab our logo here, and we'll bring that to the front as well. And we'll probably want to make this a little smaller. And okay, we're good to go. So hopefully that gives you enough kind of an idea on how you can modify and change these templates. And of course, you can be as OCD as you want, moving things around. So we'll go ahead and bring these down a little bit because I like that yellow swoosh color that's in the middle. That actually worked out really nicely with the with the stock photo that we have. So that's one way to put this together. And then, of course, to save us some time, I have some other examples here on other ways we could have designed this. And so the sky really is the limit when it comes to your cover. I do recommend spending quite a bit of time on your cover though, because obviously that's going to be the first thing that your ebook is judged by. So now let's go ahead and get into the inside of your book. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new page here. And for some reason it's coming in gray. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring the background color to white. And the recommendation I have for you is go ahead and paste in your text now. Now, I get a lot of questions about this. So here is an example of our ebook that's all written out in a Google Doc. I recommend you do all the writing outside of Canva. And of course, we have a couple of pictures here that we want to include, as well as some tables. Now, I don't recommend making tables in Canva. It's a real headache. It's possible and you can do it. But if you have tables, I would recommend just taking screenshots of whatever you have inside of your Google Doc or Word doc and pasting it as an image, unless it's really, really important that you have a table that you can do lots of modifications with. So if you are doing an ebook that's going to be on Kindle, then actually it's best to use plain text inside of a Google Doc, and then you can just come up here to File, download as EPUB. So it's not going to be the best formatted in the world, but it is going to work. And so as an example here, if I scroll down, you'll see I have some images. So you can make these images in Canva, paste them into your Word doc, and then export it as EPUB, and you're good to go. Don't format everything inside of Canva, because Canva is only going to export as a PDF or images. So let's go ahead and grab some of our text here. So I'm going to come up here and grab our headline. Now, I do get a lot of questions about this. Is this really the best way to go? And the answer is yes. It really does take a long time to bring in all of your text. So I'm going to click and drag and bring this up here, and we'll just leave that for now. And then I'll go back over to our Word doc, grab our next paragraph, and then go ahead and paste it in here. So you don't have to make a text element to paste the text. You just have to copy paste. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up here, pasting everything in. And now that the tedious copying and pasting is over, let's go ahead and start formatting this page. And so you'll see here that I've copied and pasted all of the text that we need for this page. And I recommend you do this page by page. That way you know exactly all of the text that needs to fit on this page, and leaving them separate elements in terms of their different paragraphs or headers. So we have our headers here. So I'm going to select both of them by holding Shift. And then I'm going to come up here and change them to blue. And I've made sure that they are header format. And then we can go ahead and just make these a little bigger. And we'll click and drag it over. You see that we are now in line with the other ones. So Canva does a lot of those little purple or pinkish lines to help make sure that everything is lined up correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and line this in the center. And then we can click up here to align to the left-hand side. And this is going to be normal text, so I'm going to go ahead and change it to a different. Let's just go ahead and choose railway for some reason. So we'll go ahead and click and drag, and you'll see that we are now in the center. And you'll see that it is formatted things a little funny, the paragraphs. So all we need to do is just hit delete, and so that way we get a single paragraph here. And then I'll go ahead and click and drag our 7 steps up. And I will skip ahead to where all of this has been formatted. And just like that, we've formatted, changed some colors, changed some text size. Just to let you know what I've gone with 32 for the whole page title, and then 21 for the subheading, and then 19 for the actual text. So I'm designing this as if it's going to be read digitally, and there's not a whole lot of text here. If you have a lot of text, then you're probably not going to want font sizes this big. Now, obviously, we'd like to spruce up this page a little bit. So now that we have our text, which I recommend just get your text in there. You can always move the text around, but as long as you know what needs to be on the page, designing is going to be a whole lot easier. So I like creating what I'd like to call a page frame. So what I'm doing now, I'm actually going to use on each one of these pages. And so you want to create a frame for your logo, and then you want to create a frame for the page count. So those are kind of the two things to keep in mind. And you can, just blatantly copy what I'm about to do here. So I'll go ahead and have that blue, and then I'll use a light gray color, and I'll bring this up to the top. You'll see how this is going to work out in a moment. And this is what I'm going to use for the page numbers. So now I'm going to come over here to the text element and just add a subheading here. And this is going to be page number 1. And of course, we want it to be one of the fonts that we're using. So you definitely don't want to have more than 3 fonts in your ebook. It's cool to kind of have different fonts for different things, but then eventually it just kind of looks like a design mess. So a quick little tip there, just have 2, and we will leave it like that. And let's go ahead and change the color to, let's just do orange, right? Let's go ahead and do that orange color again, and we'll make it bold so it's nice and easy to read. And then we want to add our logo. So I'm going to go over here to elements, but obviously you can upload your own logo, and we'll just say this is our logo. And I'll click and drag, bring that to the bottom here. And we could just leave it like that, or we could go ahead and add our website. So our website URLs at the bottom of each one. So we'll go ahead and add another thing of text here and just put in our website. And then we'll go ahead and just add another bar at the bottom for consistency. So we'll go ahead and actually make that go the full length. And of course, we don't want it to be blocking our website here. So we can go ahead and click on position and send it backward. And now it's in front of our website. Our website URL is now hard to read. So now let's go ahead and just change the color to white. And let's go ahead and add a couple of icons or images here. So we have a bunch of this text. So let's find some images or icons that's going to help illustrate what this is about. So we have focus, reality, and some steps. So we can come over here to elements and let's just say checklist. And I'm going to click on the filter, click on free, so we only see the free items here. And now these are all elements that anyone can use, so let's go ahead and use this checklist. Something that I like about some of their icons is you can actually change the colors. So let's go ahead and change these colors to match our colors here, and blue, and we'll go ahead and match this one to the orange we've been using. And now we can click and drag it. That worked out really, really nicely. So let's go ahead and select our text element and just drag it over. So now we have our checklist here. We'll click and drag, bring that down. Nah, we'll just leave it like that. We can go ahead and, of course, play some more. And now we've taken something that looked pretty plain and just added an image or icon here. So let's go ahead and do it one more time, although I recommend don't go too crazy with this, obviously. This would probably be enough for this page, but let's say we wanted a photo. So let's go up here to photos, and we'll scroll down here looking for a clock. I kind of like that one, although it is pro, and I kind of like this one, which is also pro. So let's go ahead and filter by free again so we can see something that we'll actually be able to use here. And obviously we're not going to have as many options. Let's go ahead and choose this sunflower. Now, even if we click and drag it up here, it still doesn't really fit all that well. So what we can do to help our photos look a little better is we can come back over here to elements. I'll click out of the search, and we can actually use frames. So let's say we want a frame like this. So now I can click and drag the image into the frame, and it's going to automatically crop the photo in the frame oh my gosh, I'm not thinking straight here. So it's automatically going to crop the photo in the same frame shape. There's the word I'm looking for, shape. So you see you have all of these different options. You even have some laptops and phones and tablets here. So you can create a lot of really cool looking designs. This is one of my favorites. I've never actually been able to find a photo that works really well, but you'll see we'll click and drag it over here, and then we have the photo has been cropped using the frame. So we could click and drag and put it over, oops, don't move that one, put it over here, and we'll just make it nice and small. I'm not going to fix it here, just to show you that there are a lot of options and you can have a lot of fun with these photos. I recommend 2 or 3 max, and we'll just leave it like that. So that's an example of what you can do with formatting the inside of your ebook. Now, when it's time to create a new page, here's what I recommend doing. Go ahead and duplicate page, and then we will just delete all the middle of our hard work, and we'll go ahead and call this number 2. And then you can go ahead, copy paste your text in. So I'd come in here, I won't do it, don't worry. And then I would copy and paste all of the rest of our text and images, and then go ahead and format them, add some icons, and add some stock photos as well to spruce up the text. So I'm just going to slowly scroll down. Of course, before recording, went ahead and came up with some other designs. And again, this is just to help you come up with some ideas and of course change it to whatever makes the most sense for you. And if this is going to be a lead magnet and this is not a paid ebook, what I recommend doing is having some sort of call to action button at on the very last page. So we'll go ahead and scroll down to our last page here, and I recommend making some sort of button or some sort of call to action telling people what to do next. And so the way I made this button, I'm going to go ahead and ungroup so you can see, is first off, you want to use the text click here, because people aren't necessarily used to clicking on links inside of an ebook. So if you just say watch now or learn more, someone's not going to know that they need to click. So always use the text click here to watch now or learn more. So I'm going to click and drag that down. And so the way I like making buttons is just use the basic square element and then use another square element, and you'll see that there's this kind of shadow behind it. You can change the transparency. So I'm going to click and drag this back here, and we'll just make another button right below it. So we'll go ahead and go to Elements, and we will go out of Frames here, and we will click on our, here we go. We're going to make another square, and we'll just go ahead and click and drag it down. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy this text. So we'll copy paste here, and we'll just make the exact same. So we'll just say click here. Make it a smaller button. So click here, and of course we'll change the size. And once we have the size that we like, I just realized that I've been doing this small. So let's go ahead, jump it up to 100% here, just because we want to zoom in a little more. And then you can go ahead and click on the square, the rectangle, it's not a square, the rectangle, and then go ahead and copy paste. So you can just hit Control or Command C, Control Command V, and then we're going to come up here to transparency and bring it down to about 30 or 40. So let's go ahead and do 43, and then I'm going to click on position and send it backward. And then we can go ahead and click and drag and bring it to approximately about there. And now you've added some dimensions to your button. Now, obviously, it's not as advanced as something that you could do on your website or some other things that you can do inside Canva, but I really like this because it's quick and clean. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight all three elements. So I'm highlighting the background transparent, I'm highlighting the dark purple rectangle, and now I'm also highlighting the text, and then I'm going to go ahead and click on group. And the reason you want to do this is now that they're grouped together, go ahead and click on the link icon and go ahead and put in your link. That way, if someone clicks anywhere on that button, they will be taken to the call to action link. So that does it for creating an ebook inside of Canva. Go ahead and comment below if you have any questions. Now what I want to do is take this ebook to the next level. Let's say it's not just going to be an ebook, it's also going to be a worksheet, and you want people to be able to type into these boxes or some of these, what are these tables down below. So let's go ahead and scroll back to the top here, and we'll go ahead and click on the download icon. Now we do have some options here. Now what's important to note is you do need to download and export this and then share it the way you want. If you want to share it, then I recommend just uploading it to Google Drive and make a public share link. But here we can go ahead and download it as a PDF for print, standard, or JPEG or PNG. If you download it as a JPEG or PNG, each page is going to be its own separate image. We don't want that for ebooks. So we'll go ahead and download for print, high quality, and then we need to come in here and select our pages. Now, because I have multiple pages that are the front page, I want to make sure that I don't have 3 or 4 different front pages. So I'll go ahead and select page 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 here. So I'll just go ahead and select those. And that way my PDF will only have those pages in them. So we'll go ahead and click on done, and then we will download. So what we're downloading right now, this is the file that you will share with people when they buy your ebook or as your lead magnet. And we'll wait for it to download, and then you're going to want to go to a free site called PDF Escape. So what PDF Escape is going to allow you to do is allow you to make the PDF that you've just created editable. I always mess that word up. So essentially what that means is someone can type in, you can add some drop-down menus. It's pretty cool. So let's go back here, and it's downloaded. So we can hop on over to PDF Escape. You can make a free account, and they will automatically save your PDF for a couple of days, which is the downside of the free plan. But if you do upgrade, then you can save your PDF and make all the changes you want. So we'll go ahead and wait for this to be uploaded. And after a good 90 seconds, it will load up in the PDF Escape interface, and we can scroll through and see the PDF that we've created. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll to page 3 here, because maybe we want to allow people to type in their own answers. So what's really cool is you can come up here to form field, and then you can select text, paragraph, checkbox, and some other options like drop down. So I'll go through 3 of the ones that I like using. So unless you only want people to have one line, go ahead and use text paragraph. That will allow people to hit enter. If you do text, I just like using text paragraph. It gives people more flexibility. So we'll go ahead and hit select here. And now we're going to be able to click and drag where we want that form input field to be. Now, of course, if we have a rounded rectangle like we do here, And this one is going to be a square. We'll just kind of go in and match it as much as possible. You can zoom in and be much more OCD. So we are done with that one. Now you'll see what happened. I just clicked somewhere else and I accidentally made another input. So I can just hit Command C or Control Z, and you can just click here to disable, and then you'll be able to scroll through normally. So we can go ahead and see now that people can go ahead and type in their own text. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And let's just go ahead and make this text a different font and make it bigger. So we'll make it 14 so it's easier for people to read. There we go. So now let's go ahead and scroll down here. Let's say we have a table and we want people to have a drop down. So what we can do is we can click on Form Field again, and then this time we can click on a drop down menu. So we'll go ahead and click drop down, click on Select, and then maybe we're going to give them drop downs for their category, and we're going to give them drop downs for their outsourcing, right? And so I'm going to go ahead and click on Disable here, and then I will click on this element, and I'm going to click on the little wrench icon here so I can enter the drop down. So the name is going to be Outsource, and it's going to be visible. Yes, we want it to print, and allow custom. So this means someone can just type in if they want. And this one is a yes or no. So we're going to have field input option yes, and we're going to have field input option no. And then we'll go ahead and uncheck custom. I'll do custom on the next one, click OK. And now someone can click on this drop down and they can select yes or no. And if we want this to go all the way down, all we need to do is copy and paste this element. And we'll do that by right-clicking and then go ahead and duplicate object, not delete. And then you can click and drag it down here. And that way you don't have to go through the settings every single time you want to make a drop-down menu. So we can just duplicate this all the way down. And of course, I think with every single page, you should just go ahead and click on this save icon here so it saves your work just in case you get disconnected, which is a good reason to use the free account just in case something gets disconnected. So now let's go ahead and make some other options here. So I'll click on the element, I'll click on the wrench here, and this is going to be category. And here we are going to allow custom, and let's just say this is giving a category to the task, and we'll go ahead and click on OK. So now someone can either type in whatever they want, or they can click the drop down menu and click on the whatever the drop down is supposed to be, or the categories you've come up with them from. So you'll notice that this does give you a lot of flexibility, but it also is really tedious. So do make sure that you are 100% good to go with your ebook formatting before you do this, because if you're scrolling through here and let's say under 4 transition, you're like, oh no, there's a spelling error. Well, guess what? You're gonna have to go back to Canva, edit it, and then you're going to have to upload a completely new version and then redo all of these pages, which is something you probably do not want to have to do. So just keep that in mind as we go through doing this. And once you're done, you can actually download and save this, which I'll do in a moment. But let's go ahead and show the checkbox function. So we'll go to Form Field, click on Check, and then we'll go to Checkbox, Select, and then we can just go ahead and add in a checkbox right here. So if you do want checkboxes, it will be a lot easier. Oops. There we go. I'm going to click on Disable now. It is a lot easier to make sure things are lined up correctly if you create your own lines inside of Canva. That way you kind of have a template to follow in here. And then people can check and uncheck. So we'll go ahead and call this good. I will go ahead and save, and we will now download this. And you can see here I have a second download, so we'll go ahead and click on that. I'll open it up inside of Chrome here, and now you can see that we have these checkboxes. So I'm checking and unchecking these, and then if we come down to our text box here, we can type in whatever we want, put all the spaces and entering that we want. And so this is something that when someone downloads their version of the ebook, they're going to be able to do. And then of course we have our drop down menus, which are very poorly formatted, but that's okay. I made them way too big. So no, and then let's say this one is yes, right? And so that's all there is to it, to making your PDF editable. Now, if someone isn't able to do this, it's going to be because of the PDF reader that they're using. It's not that the file itself is broken. So especially if you're previewing this inside of Google Drive, you're not going to be able to edit any of these. I do get questions about that. So the file itself does Chrome. If someone's using Chrome, they're going to be able to create their own responses inside of the PDF, and any major PDF reader is going to allow your readers to save all of their work and progress. So thank you so much for watching. I sincerely hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button, comment below with any of your ebook reading questions. Quick bonus round, if you want some more insights on how to actually come up with your company colors, I highly recommend the guide by Nick Colinda. I will leave a link to the blog post in the description. It is a just masterfully done post that is all about how to choose your brand colors. And you can also use a free tool called coolers.co, and that will also help you figure out your gradients and even give you some color palettes to work with. So I highly recommend you check out those two resources when it comes to figuring out what your brand colors should be or your colors for your ebook. So hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dive design and product building videos just like this one. And until the next, keep building the business you love.